Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else. Welcome to Crit It and Hit It. My name is Drew, I'm the Dungeon Master for today, and with me is...
Abby from Drip and Tested! Hi!
So welcome everyone. The layout is a little different. For those of you that have noticed, if you've paid attention to the title, you'll know that this is the second week of the special episodes, focusing on a single character and their adventures while everyone's dispersed for a week. So, first person we're looking at tonight is Anakis.
Everyone's favourite Druid.
For those of you that are unaware, Anakis is a Tiefling Druid, or Tiefling Druid, depending on your pronunciation. She has a scroll, but yes, you can see the image on the screen as well. Yes, she is purple and green.
She is. She's adorable. And she has a pet squirrel named Nutkin, who may make an appearance this evening. Voice from Drew, hint, hint. Everybody loves a bit of Nutkin.
Everyone does love a bit of Nutkin.
Everyone does.
So, I've received death threats in the case of his death. So, we will begin today's session with Anakis having just finished transporting everyone to their destinations. Airden is left in the pub nursing his hangover. AD Amy and Sheniel have been transported far, far to the north for their pilgrimage towards what Sheniel described to Anakis just before leaving them was a trip north, very north. It would not be more descriptive or specific than that.
No.
Eden was transported elsewhere to the city of the place that she was, Udensorge.
Yeah.
And then Anakis returns to the small village near where the small temple was, where everyone just relaxed in the inn. And it's when she comes through the Druid gate, returning on her own, seeing fields and a dirt road ahead of her, the village in the distance, small pillars of smoke launching from the various chimneys and smokestacks, fire pits that are there, the festival bunting still getting put up and things being arranged. It is now that she sees there is a small flock of starlings zooming towards her at great speed. They flock around, and as they do so, swirling around and not seeming to let her go, one starling lands on the back of her hand and says a message to her that Dornell wishes for your presence in the forest.
She just sort of smiles and she's... where? Take me. Welsh accent, Welsh. Yeah. Turn it down. Wait, take me now.
The starlings then take off again, grabbing hold of Anakis, the whole flock of them picking her up and taking her across the land towards the forest. Now, given the speed velocity of a laden starling, you get there by late afternoon.
Excellent.
You are taken northwest towards familiar grounds. This is going to be one of the forests that Anakis grew up in. Her family is here. Starlings drop you off at the edge of the forest and then turn and fly away. Anakis knowing full well that these starlings are not those that make their nests in this particular woodland, but they're just friends of Dornell. You see the dark, glooming forest ahead of you. You hear the usual sounds of lizards, birds, and mammals baying at each other, barking. It looks like evening's about to settle in.
I look around. Do I get? Is there any little animals that I could befriend?
Yes, you see all sorts. There's a few caterpillars dangling down from a branch, looking like they're ready to get into their chrysalis phase. You see that there's a few small, what they call not squirrels, the smaller ones, chipmunks. There we go.
Chipmunks. Oh, even better. I'm going to cast animal friendship. Oh, hang on, no. Speak with animals. Let me just mark it up. Yes, speak with animals at first level, please, Drew. I need to remember the Welsh. It's been a very long time.
So, first level, speak with animals. You can now speak with and be understood by animals.
Yes.
So yeah, they're limited by their own intelligence, but they can, at minimum, give you information about nearby locations and monsters, as the spell describes. But yes, you can speak with the animals, as we learned from the dog in Untrathar. That they are very limited by the kinds of experiences that they themselves have.
Yes. I'm going to cast speak with animals and talk to. What did you say it was?
Chipmunks.
I cannot remember. A chipmunk. Hello, friends. Have you seen the Crimson Guard anywhere?
One of them scampers along the branch, peers over to look down at you. It seems very young, but rather chipper. Crimson Guard? Who's the Crimson Guard?
Oh, a tall-looking fellow, dark hair, quite scraggly, but quite broad. Strange sort of fellow, really. Might be wandering on his own, or could be a new animal to the forest, maybe.
Another chipmunk scampers along and then slaps the first chipmunk on the shoulder. Le Garde Rouge! She's on about Le Garde Rouge! You now have a small flock of chipmunks scampering down the tree, coming around your feet, and asking, do you have anything in the way of nuts, crumbs, breads? They're really a fan of those. And in exchange, they are willing to give you some information.
I say to Nutkin, would you mind? Do you mind sharing?
He gives you a look. And then just looks away.
So much sass from a little squirrel. I so fine if you're going to be like that. And I hand them some crumbs from my bread roll that I had earlier, or half of it that's left.
They eagerly eat all of it up, and all but one scamper away. That one still eating happily, and then when he notices that he's the only one there...
No, come here! Don't you dare! No, come here.
Give me a persuasion check.
Oh no! Why do this to me? Oh well, that's a 2.
It stares wide-eyed, looks up and down, and then rushes for the tree as fast as it can.
Nut can go!
Almost like an attack dog. He just sort of lowers himself down and then rushes off your shoulder, dashing towards it. Give me an athletics skill check for Nutkin.
I don't have any stats for him. I mean, that's a 9.
Well, I rolled a 7. A chipmunk and a squirrel are going to have similar stats, so it's basically going to come down to the roll. Nutkin catches up to him, tackles him to the ground, holds him down.
And he squeaks, he says, and it's, how dare you talk to her like that? We need to help her.
Anakis will be able to hear and fully understand Nutkin in that case. So Nutkin forcing this chipmunk down. No way you talk to her like that. The chipmunk apologizes profusely and throws the piece of bread away and starts chattering away at very high speed. It takes a little while for it to slow down and calm down enough for you to understand what it's saying. God, he's hunting a dire boar. It's a big one. It's got massive tusks.
Okay, right. Thank you. I'm going to cast locate. In fact, no. I'm going to see if I can track him.
Okay. Stepping within the tree line, you start to see some of the telltale signs of recent wood elf activity. The occasional, twisted, knotted branch in the way of like a hunter sign, similar way that rogues would leave like marks and notches in doorposts. The hunters will leave like little twists in leaves and branches. So give me a survival skill check. Let's see how good she is.
Well, it's +7, so you know. Well, that's good, because that would make it a 12.
Standing into the middle of a few trees, closing her eyes, taking a deep breath, and then looking around, she spots a few wild blossoms pointing in an easterly direction. It is approaching autumn. These blossoms should be long gone by now. And you know that Dornell usually leaves a bit of a rumble in his wake in the way of plant activity. So you know that he is in that direction. You follow quickly. I would like you to make a stealth check. Moving stealthily. Or you can make yourself well known by just tramping through the forest.
I'm going to cast Pass Without a Trace on myself.
Giving yourself a +10. Excellent.
Let me just cast it. Sorry.
It's okay.
Well, that would be a 23.
With that 23, you manage to find yourself near another clearing, and ahead, about 70 feet away, you see some bushes rumbling and moving. You can hear snuffling sound and the quick short whinny of a pig. Up in the tree above you, you notice a dark shadow, a very familiar looking one. You can tell that Donnell is up there, hiding in the tree branches. He doesn't seem to have spotted you yet.
I'm going to cast Spider Climb on myself. I'm going to climb up the tree and scare him.
His back is to you. He's got his usual cowl up, so his ears are still on display so we can fully hear, but he's got a leather cap on with the ear bits cut out. He's leaning very far forward, watching this bush intently, doesn't notice you at all.
And I'm just going to go.
He stabilizes himself against the tree branch. What the bloody hell do you think you're doing, lass?
I didn't think I'd see you around here.
I didn't think you'd be going around yelling rah at people.
Well, you should be more sneaky next time, shouldn't you?
I'm a little focused at the moment.
I see that, but the ball's gone now.
Oh, you look at that. You do see the boar running away through the bushes. Come on. We need to go and catch it before it causes much more trouble.
Oh, what's it been doing?
It's a bit of an odd one. We need to catch it. You'll see. I'll show you.
Okay, right. Well, in that case, I'm going to cast Conjure Animal. Well, I'm going to go down the tree and see if I can run after it. And as I'm running, I'm going to see how close I can get to it.
Okay. Could you give me an athletics skill check, please, Anakis?
I can. Athletics. Bonus is hang on, sorry. What am I looking for? Athletic strength. That would be a 14. Oh, I don't know why that took me so long. I'm sorry.
It's all right. So, with that 14, you leap from the tree that you're currently in to one just further ahead, but a little lower down. And again, you're sort of ping-ponging between these. You hit the ground running quickly. You see that this boar disappears into a bush, and you dive in after it, and you've got a hold of its back legs. I'm going to need either another athletics check to try and restrain it, or an attack roll to try and knock it out. Oh
dear. Well, can I use, in that case, Primal Savagery if I'm going to attack it?
Yes, absolutely.
Next one. Okay. I'm going to use my claws. I think. First level 2d8. I'll roll an attack first, shall I? 12 to hit.
12 to hit. That's enough to get the boar.
Oh, sorry, no, 19. I didn't add my modifier.
Ah. Well, then definitely a hit.
That's okay. That's what I like to hear. What does a D10 look? Oh dear me! What does a D10 look like, people? That would be a 13 points of damage.
13 points of damage. So as you pull back on it with one arm, you slash forward with your nails and scratch along its back. It lets out a massive squeal, and you've still got hold of it. You've done some damage to it. It's starting to bleed out. It's going to be a lot slower, but it's still getting the chance to escape.
No! Okay, this time I'm going to try and restrain it with my No, because a ball's really strong, so it makes more sense to attack it. But I don't want to attack. Okay, I'm going to cast Animal Friendship.
Okay.
I want to befriend the beast.
Animal friendship, if memory serves, that's essentially just a cast and it's done, is it not?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Must succeed a wisdom save. Wisdom save of 15.
Oh, is it wisdom save?
Uh-huh. Of 15.
There we go.
And it lasts for 24 hours. Oh. I should have cast that earlier.
Oh, well, you would get
Never
3
mind.
at this point, wouldn't you? There we go. So you've given it a good hefty scratch, and you reach into the bush, you grab a handful of berries and almost like shove it into the pig's mouth. And straight away it calms down, breathing heavily. Just rests into your grip.
That's it. Okay, I'll heal you, don't worry, but just calm down. It's okay. Wait. Is Donnell anywhere? Can I see him? Is he anywhere? Donnell!
Donnell is in one of the trees above you, dangling from one branch, a long bow in his other hand.
Don't you dare. No. What do you want with this beast?
Are you making friends with it now?
I am. Aye.
You're a soppy one. Let's go to the branch, lands next to you, and helps you pull it out of the bush. When he does so, you see immediately this boar's skin is bright purple. There are streaks of red coming from the front of its face. Its eyes are entirely black with veins of yellow. It has 4 massive tusks, 2 of them looking like ram's horns coming out of its jaw.
What is it? A fiend?
Well, that's what I'm telling you. It's a bit of an odd one, isn't it?
Well, where did it come from? Where have you come from?
Oh, God, you've still got Speak with Animals, haven't you?
I have! It lasts for 24 hours! It's not going to talk to me, it's a blue fiend, isn't it? It's not good. Oh!
Forest.
Forest, I see that. Where? Who's your master?
I don't have a master. I snuffle.
Snuffle the truffles, do you?
What's a truffle?
Never mind.
I now really want to find a truffle.
No. No. Darnell, what do you want with it?
Well, I was wanting to know what the hell it was doing here.
What are you doing here?
Running.
What else apart from snuffling and running?
Just being here.
Well, I don't think it's causing any trouble, Donald. I think we can just let it go.
It went in and got some of my carrots.
Oh, carrots, marrots. They're only... Oh, I let it go.
Did you not see the look of that thing?
It's fine.
It's some bloody demon.
Well, we'll deal with it later.
Aye, you bet we will.
Unless you want to go after it. I mean, do you think it's going to cause a problem?
Anakis. What are we going to bloody do with you? And at this, he throws his bow down, throws his arms wide, and pulls you in for a hug.
Oh, it's nice to see you.
Sort of wobbling side to side. Oh,
how have you been?
It's been rough. How's it been with you going off with them druids?
Well, there was a slight change of plan. I went with the druids, but then left them, and have sort of been wandering ever since, really. Mother and father sent me away.
Well, what'd you be doing that for?
I was in danger with
Oh,
the elves.
well. Buck up, wipe your brow. We're going to go home and meet them.
Okay, it's been a while. It'd be nice. Is there anything been going on with them?
I'll tell you on the way.
Oh, okay.
So, a little while ago, we started noticing a few strange beasties about the forest. That boar being one of them.
Oh, maybe we should have killed it then. Apologies.
Well, it's mostly just a bit of trouble. It's nothing we can't scare away. We've mostly left them to themselves for a while, hunting when we need to. But lately it's started to get a bit more important for us to be watching where we're going. You see, I asked you here to help with a bit of the Druid problem.
What Druid problem?
They've been sort of encroaching.
On who? The elves?
Aye, on us.
Why? Makes no sense.
Well, they found out that there were a bunch of these wee, strange beasties. So they started having a deeper look, and they found a bunch of Tieflings hiding out in the woods. And we didn't know they were bloody there. But all of a sudden, it's our problem now.
Okay, so we need to persuade them not to come? Is that what you're saying? You want us to send them away?
Want to kick them out and try and cleanse the land, is what they're saying. Move a bunch of the dryads in, see if they can purge the land of the demon spawn. I don't think that that's what's going on. A bunch of strange beasties and a few Tieflings congregating doesn't mean that the whole land is cursed.
Well, look at me. I'm not exactly cursed. Well, I think I am.
Exactly what I was bloody saying.
Well, why don't we go see them? These druids and the elves.
Well, I thought that would be the thing to go and send you to do. But you're saying you're not exactly with them anymore.
Well, I am, but I haven't seen them for a while. It might be I mean, I can go and have a go. I can go and try and talk to them. I know of one particular druid that could help, but she's back in the town, and maybe if I mention her name, it might help, I think.
Who have you been speaking to lately? Not seen your man da? You not been speaking to the druids? Keeping your own company these days?
She is druid, but Mrs. Harris back in where was I? Back.
I do know an old Mother Harris.
She lives out. She doesn't live in the town. She lives out in the woods. But she's very nice, and she gave me this very pretty healing wreath thing, and it helps with food and things. And yes,
well, she is a wise woman. I do hear tales of her.
Well, maybe if I go try and talk to the druids. I know it's been a while, but it might help. I can give it a go.
He then stops right next to one of the trees that you know has one of the quick climb ladders hidden within it. Up above you in the canopy, the tree-bound huts and houses of your village. You see a few people swinging about on vine swings, moving from one platform to another. It's a suspended wooden village. Everyone chatting away to each other quietly. They're using the occasional whistle and hum mixed in with the usual words. You identify that as them speaking Sylvan. And it sounds like a happy village being productive up above.
I sort of sigh to myself a happy sigh, and it's very refreshing, and it's warm and fuzzy. It's a warm and fuzzy feeling. And I look to him and I say thank you. I look to Donnell, who's probably behind me, and just say thank you.
Not a problem. I'm going to go and see if I can get something that will fill my belly.
Oh, well, you can have some of these berries if you want. One will fill your belly all day.
I'm going to go for something a little more juicy. Say hi to your man Da for me.
I will. Toolpip?
And he dashes off into the forest and starts scrambling up the side of a tree.
Right. Okay. I'm going to see if I can find I'm going to see if I can find Mal and Pa.
All right. You start climbing the ladder. You see a few snakes coiling around the trees, hissing. One of them, quite a large constrictor, bidding you hello as it slides by. A few other smaller snakes sort of coiling around it. Unusual behaviour, but a lot of things in this forest tend to be a bit more family-oriented, even if naturally elsewhere they wouldn't be.
I give it a little scratch on its scaly head.
It leans into you and then leans back, going further up the tree.
Yay!
One of the tiny snakes on its back sort of stares at you the entire time as it's getting dragged up further away from you from the tree, and then just gives a quick flick out with its tongue, and then turns to climb further up its bum. You see the place teeming with all sorts. You've got big people, small people running about all over the place. A lot of people sat basket weaving. You've got flocks of birds moving from nest to nest. You've got this cacophony of insects moving around in almost a canopy overhead. You see a few small bug lanterns where you've got these glowflies dancing about in these pale, very thinly made wicker lamps. Everything's so natural and alive, and lots of autumnal flowers starting to bloom and grow around people's huts.
As I climb up, I'm going to set off some more flower vines with my Druid craft. Just as I sort of touch, everywhere I touch, I'm gonna help it to flower, and the branches flower and things.
You get a bit of attention from people that recognise you. A few waves hello. A few of the smaller ones run up to you. They recognise you but don't have strong memories, so they're just like, "Oh, fake person that I know." They run up and give you a hug. They don't get a lot of strangers come through.
No.
You see standing on a slightly raised platform, Ma and Da. They are standing, looking stern, as parents tend to from time to time.
I give them a nod.
They give you a nod. Your father gives you a slight smile. Your mother gives you a firm look, and both of them move to go back into the hut.
I run up to my dad from behind and I jump on his back and say, "Hi!"
He then supports you, lets you ride on his back, takes you inside, and sits you down on a familiar chair, gets you a bowl of broth, serves it to you, and immediately starts braiding some of your hair while he sits and talks to you. Your mum will go and grab her own bowl of broth, sit slowly on a stool, and start sipping away.
So, how are things?
Dire, Anakis. Very dire.
Okay, right.
You've been away a long time.
Yes, I have. I'm sorry. I got a bit preoccupied. I've been slaying a few demons and whatnot.
I got no messages or nothing.
I did tell Volunteer to tell you I was okay. I don't know if they've been back, but...
Oh, that doesn't count, and you know. Some highfalutin druid. Got all kinds of magic spells and whatnot, and you can't even come in and say hi to your mum.
Well, Ma, there's been a reason, I've also been very angry, and I've not quite... I felt like a little bit of a stranger coming back. I don't fit in here, so it's been very hard being out and about. And
don't fit in here. You're my daughter. You fit in anywhere, I bloody well say you do.
I think we know why I don't... I think we know why I don't feel like I fit in. The pink skin and the horns don't help when you've got pointy ears and pale skin.
You don't see me making a bit of a difference about the fact that Yadaz there's with his short hair and pointy ears.
I bumped into Donnell.
She gets up to go and get herself some more soup, despite the fact that she's still got quite a fair amount. And she just sort of wordlessly starts spooning into her bowl. Your dad, while braiding your hair and getting a few daisies to put in there. What was Donnell doing?
He came to find me. He wanted me to come back and help with the Daya situation.
Bit of an odd one he's become these days. Starting to talk about druids and them moving in nearby. We started noticing a few things and we looked into it. Donnell sometimes gets a bit wary of things and they don't pan out. This time he just happened to be right. I'm not proud of it, but I doubt it. So, did he tell you much about what's going on?
Well, he told me that the Druids want to move in and move you guys out. Along with the Tiefling?
Well, that's the long and short of it, yes. It turns out we've got a bunch of Tieflings that have moved in next door, and the Druids think that this shouldn't be there. So they wanted to move them out, and it just means that we've got a smaller hunting ground.
So where would you go?
Well, we wouldn't have anywhere to go. We'd need to move to a new hunting ground, a whole new forest. And none of us want to do that. Well,
we need to talk to the Druids.
Well, yes, we do, but we've got these Tieflings in the situation as well. We didn't know they were there, but they're in our forest now. Half of us are thinking that Tieflings should be asked to jog on a bit and stop making trouble.
Did I make any trouble for the family, for the town, village? No?
Well, no, you didn't. And that's been our argument. That there's no such thing as a cursed Tiefling. It's a whole bunch of bloody nonsense.
Well, why don't I go to speak to the Tiefling and see if they can come and talk to us?
Well, I don't see what harm it can do. He then gets up, gets a small leaf-wrapped parcel and hands it to you. Your mum made that for you.
Thank you. I don't think I'll be long, but thank you anyway. Mum, I'm going out.
She shouts back from the pot. I don't let the door hit you on the way out.
No. I'll see you soon. I'll send a message.
Aye, for the first time you will. Your dad gives you a quick peck, brushes your hair a little, and sends you out. The package, if you open it, has a very ornately crafted little leather holster. It looks like it's designed to hold a small creature, perhaps even a squirrel, to help keep them safe. There's a flap. There's a flap held on with a set of little buckles, and you see that when Nutkin settles himself in there, it's a little leather helmet for him.
I put it on, and I tell Nutkin to go in it, or I tell him yes, go in it, and I put his little tiny little helmet on and fasten it under his chin.
So you see that while he's got this on, he's got enough movement to not feel restricted, but he's held to you firm, so he can't get lost, tumble away, or anything of that sort. So, heading out, you've been given some vague direction of where the Tieflings would be. The Druids and where they would be hasn't been made plain at all, so you can try and track the Druids down. but you know that they would probably try and hide their tracks. But the Tieflings you should be able to find, no problem.
Okay, I go in search of the Tieflings first.
All right. Give me another survival skill check. Let's see if you can track them down.
Oh. Oh dear. That would be a 10.
You follow a set of tracks, and as you follow them, they seem to multiply, and the tracks get even more numerous. What you thought was a single person moving back towards a base camp turns out to have been a whole pack of, at first, people, and then they changed to paw prints. It seems that perhaps you've been mixed up in your tracking. Then, while you're moving between a couple of bushes, you then hear a... Turning around, you see a robed figure, not familiar, but certainly from the Druid Order. Looks to be human.
Hello?
Hello? Little lost?
What? Are you?
No, a little.
Where are you going?
Well, I'm supposed to be finding more of you lot.
Why?
Well, no need to get defensive. I'm here as a broker of sorts. I understand that you've already met with some of our leadership, and a less than comfortable arrangement was proposed, so I'm here to just help smooth things over. Think of me as a negotiator.
A negotiator for what?
Well, to get you happily moved and settled into a new location. We just need to sort out the land underneath, make sure it's all purified. People with your condition, we need to make sure that it doesn't spread.
The elves don't need to go. The Tiefling don't need to go. They can stay here. This is their home.
I understand you might feel that way, but you have to understand there is a natural order to things. This forest doesn't have tusks, boars notwithstanding. You know what I mean. The horns, the skin, it's a little from out of town, and we're looking to keep this forest a very foresty forest. You understand?
Well, I'm from the foresty forest. I am a druid. I can keep the natural order if needed.
I'm sorry, druid?
I
am terribly sorry. I didn't realise that you were with the... I thought you were with... You look...
I see the confusion.
Well, in that case, I may have stumbled upon the right path. Were you from the original group? I understand it didn't go down well.
I'm from the Wood Elf group.
I'm confused. You said you're a druid.
Yes.
Huh.
I wasn't born by, but I was raised by the Wood Elves. And learnt of druid magic.
Well, then you're the perfect person. You'll be able to go back to your people and convince them to help us shift the Tieflings, rearrange their borders. We understand there's a creek nearby. They can go fishing there.
I mean, I don't think the Tiefling want to leave either. That's where I'm going.
Well, they may not want to move, but you have to understand it's for the best.
Is it?
Yes, we've got a whole mess of dryads that are perfectly willing to come in and help purify the land. You may have seen that a few of these animals, they're starting to change. There's something fundamentally wrong with the land. We just need to come in, clean it all up. Everyone will be much happier. And all the Tieflings, we can just put them somewhere where they're not going to bother anyone.
But who's to say it was the Tieflings that caused it?
I mean, it seems obvious, doesn't it?
No, I've been on many recent quests, and I've come across similar things elsewhere. And there was no tiefling there.
It may be the congregation of them. You rarely see so many all in one place.
I think it's worth talking to them, surely, and finding out if it A, was them, and B, if it was, why.
I get the feeling you're not fully on board with the plan.
I'm not fully on board with anyone at the moment. I'm just going to try and find out what's happened. And then I will make my decision.
I understand that the village is somewhere around here. I'm just a little lost myself. Well, let's go and find it together, and I'm sure we'll be able to sort this mess out.
Well then, let's marry on our way, shall we?
The two of you spend another hour looking around, and eventually you find a hide. A whole mess of branches and leaves set up between a couple of trees. Looking behind that, there is a crop of stones in a rough circle, but you know that they've not been placed there in a stone circle temple-like configuration. It's just a bunch of random boulders. But yeah, they've hidden this circle of stones from the rest of the forest, and you see there must be about 200 Tieflings here, making their lives. Small village. They've got lots of blankets and bits of gauze trying to filter the smoke from the one fire pit in the whole village to make sure that it's not easily visible. You see these pale white wisps of smoke coming through it, so it looks indistinguishable from steam. They've certainly gone to a lot of lengths to hide their location. A lot of the creatures you see around here as well, you see a few dogs and cats, a few squirrels running about the place. Some of them, just as the rest of the forest, but a few of them have a few more demonic traits, different coloured eyes, the skin or fur may be discoloured or perhaps coloured differently, something more along the sort of red to blue to purple and pink hue scale. The druid who's with you, who introduces himself as Marcus, by the way, he's completely taken aback. He's not seen this many Tieflings all in one place before. So, you're the resident expert here. How should we be talking to them?
Well, I can talk to them.
Yeah,
I speak their language.
I need to tell them to move. You're...
I just walk off.
He'll awkwardly just wave to a couple of people who turn and ignore him and go back to washing things, polishing things, cooking things. You get approached by a few of the larger Tieflings, down to tools, walk towards you. Oh, friend. Are you lost?
Hello. No, I've come to talk.
You are more than welcome here. Please, we have broth, we have bread.
Thank you.
And they'll lead you towards one of the canopies that they've got near the fire pit. Settle you down with some food and sit down with you. As you do so, a few more of them gather round, sitting closely, but still keeping to their own little conversational groups. But everyone's fairly close-knit. You're a stranger here. A lot of us have been here for several months. Where are you from?
I'm from the Wood Elves village in the trees.
Are you here to move us?
Ideally, no, I don't want to move you, but this fellow does. I've come to talk and just find out. There's been a few things that the Druids here don't quite understand.
The Druids are back.
They want to come back.
We put up with a few of them from days ago. They came here telling us to move, that our land is cursed, that we're poisoning things just by our presence.
Have you heard of any goings on elsewhere that might have caused such things?
I can't say that I have. I must say, the land seems perfectly fine to me. Yes, things are a little changed and different in places, but nothing that we've brought with us. We found this forest. It was largely empty. We noticed the elves moving around from time to time, but we thought there would maybe only be a couple of them, a small hunting band perhaps. There was no one else in this forest. It seemed a good place to settle down and start putting down roots. We've started having families here, building homes.
I see that, yes. But I've come back to the Wood Elves only today, after many months of travelling on word of something dangerous out looking for me. And I fear that the dangerous thing was the Druids wanting to find me. I don't know. Anyway, the Wood Elves believe, yes, that you have poisoned the land. As a fellow Tiefling, I know that not to be true. Or at least I would like to think it isn't, and that there aren't any, and you don't believe that there could be anybody within your townsfolk that would, for whatever reason?
No. We haven't found any evidence of it either. The Druids came telling us that the animals being changed was somehow a sign that we'd cursed the land. But the land is fine. I myself have been training our people to listen to the land, to pay attention. Everything is in harmony here. We do not take more than we need. We have managed to install ourselves most harmoniously here. We're keeping our growth slow, so as not to disturb things. If you don't mind my saying so, and I apologize for how offensive this may seem, I think the elves and the druids perhaps just want us gone. We're a problem to them. They don't see
I don't
us as
think...
people.
Well, I was raised by the Wood Elves. I wasn't born of them, but I was raised by them. The Wood Elves from my family treat me as their own. They don't shun me. They don't push me aside. I am their daughter. I am my mom and pa's daughter. Yes, there are some that feel Tieflings don't belong. However, perhaps if you were to talk to them face to face, explain your circumstance, and maybe join together with them to speak to the Druids, who, by the sounds of it, want you out, not the elves.
Who would we speak to with the elves? We've seen one or two hunters. Is it just your mother and father?
No, we can go and speak to someone else within the village. Side note, who would we speak to in the village?
Your mum is essentially in charge.
Oh, that's fine. We can go speak to my mother. She's in charge.
All right. I will go. I don't wish to put anyone else in danger.
Very well. What's your name?
Padamis.
Padamis.
Padamis. Padamis.
Okay, Padamis. I'm Anakis. Anna for short.
Greetings, Anakis.
And Netkin.
What a curious little creature.
Mm-hmm.
Is the journey long, or can we make it within the day?
Oh, within the day. It's only taken us a few hours.
Okay. All right. I will take nothing with us. Let us go at once. I do not care for the look of that man in the corner. He looks druidic to me.
Yes. And we head off.
Marcus, seeing you walking away, he rushes past a few people that have started sort of moving towards him and just giving him an evil glare. He rushes up to you. Hi, where are you going? Have we sorted everything? Are they going?
No, we're going to talk to the Wood Elves.
Okay. Are you all going? 'Cause that would be better.
No. Just myself and Padamis.
Right. Should I come with you?
You can do if you want. Yes, by all means, come. It might be as well as all talking.
Yes. It's not that I feel unsure about my ability to take care of myself here. Truly, these are just a bunch of commoners. I could easily handle myself. This is purely as a protection measure for the two of you. You've got no guard out there in the forest. It's dangerous out there. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your concern. I'm sure we will be fine now, but yes, you can come. It's
Excellent.
no problem.
Dashes ahead of you, gets out of there as quick as he can. Padamis follows behind you.
Okay, let's go.
You lead them to the village. You get to the ladder at the base of the tree, and heading up, snake slithering down the way, a little chunkier than it was before. Little baby snake still on its back, and as it passes by, it stares at the two men climbing up behind you, looks at you, and then the snake just tucks and rolls its eyes with a knowing glance.
It's okay.
Turning back, it says, "You don't need to bring two of them at the once."
Well, what do you want me to do?
Eat one. It's what I do.
I'm not doing that. No. I think we all need to sit down and talk. Maybe. I don't know.
How dull. And it turns and slithers down. You get greeted by your dad. He takes you back to your hut, staring at this human druid quite a bit. And your mum is there, just putting a few stitches into a thing, probably darning one of your siblings' socks or something. Anakis. Well, isn't this a pleasant surprise? Twice in one day.
Yes, Ma. This is Marcus and Padamis. One from the Druid order and the other from the Tiefling village, as you could probably guess. Both of which I have brought here to talk about the problem you have.
Excuse us. She stands up, takes you gently by the arm and escorts you outside. It's starting to get quite dark now, and there's a coolness to the breeze, but it's still pleasantly warm. She takes you out of earshot of everyone and sort of rests her arm against a barrier looking down at the forest floor. Anakis, you've brought a lot of people to our house. You having a sleepover?
No, I don't intend to, Ma. But I figured it might help. I feel like the land needs cleansing, but I don't feel like it's the Tieflings' fault. That's what the Druid wants. The Druids want to cleanse the land because they feel like the Tieflings are causing the issues with the animals and that the land is apparently cursed. But I don't think it is. Do you?
How long did you spend with the Druids?
Not very long. Well, I found him on the way to the Tieflings and then took him to the Tieflings and then brought him back.
No, I mean, how long since you left your ma, all on her own, and you went off and played with your Druid friends? How long ago was that?
About maybe 6 months, maybe 8 months ago.
And in all that time, do you think you have a handle on what a Druid is?
Yes.
How long have you looked like you do?
Well, my whole life, I think.
And how long have you been my daughter?
My whole life, I think.
Do you think this is a problem with a solution?
I don't know. Maybe. No. Yes.
Well, you brought us all here, didn't you? You brought us all here to have a bit of a chinwag.
Yes, that's exactly what I've done.
So what are we going to be wagging our chins for? You think there's something that can be done? Some want us to move, some want us not to move. Some want to be moved, some don't want to be moved.
Wait, maybe the Tiefling can come live here.
Anakis, you are my daughter. You will always be my daughter. And you are smart, and you are brave, and you are the kindest soul I ever met. You and that squirrel are inseparable. I think it's very good of you to have brought everyone here for a bit of a sit-down. You brought someone from the Druids to represent the Druids. You brought a Tiefling here to represent them. And you brought them here to represent the Wood Elves. So what are you waiting for? Go and sit down and bloody represent yourself.
I walk back through, and sit down. I just go, right, okay, what are we going to do? Yes. So, the Tieflings haven't caused the issue from what we can see.
That's not been proven categorically now. Chimes in the human druid.
Yes, this is going to get complicated, this now. I'm sorry.
Sorry?
Oh, this was not what I was meant to do. Okay. Padamas, how long have you lived in the forest for? How long have you lived where you are now?
We've been there about a year now. We've settled there. It's been quite some time that we've been building this place and settling down roots. We've been unmolested so far. People didn't even notice we were there. Well,
Why don't we work something out whereby you attempt to try and find out the problem and why Marcus here might feel like the land and the forest turning evil. How would that feel to you, Marcus?
Marcus looks visibly uncomfortable. I'm... The reason the Druid Order thinks that the forest is like it is. You see that there's a lot of your mother with a very dry smile hands him a cup of water. Thank you. Yes. It's just a lot of tieflings there, you know.
And what's the issue with there being a lot of tieflings there?
The land might be cursed.
Just because we look demonic doesn't mean that we actually are.
Why would they all gather there, those people?
Because they need somewhere to live. Just like you do, and the wood elves do. If they leave this place, where are they going to go next? They can't keep travelling all their lives because they're being shunned.
I'm sure that the urban places take them in, don't they?
Not 200.
Well, I suppose that's not really a good concern for the... not that we're unsympathetic, we're just... I just don't think that the Order will go for staying... a little concerned about the... You know?
Ma, what do you think?
Sounds a bit racist to me. No. You
Thank
see...
you, Ma.
No, see, it's not about
Race.
It's just that it makes the forest seem a bit less foresty.
But does it? Really? They're living in a clearing that was already cleared. They've not done anything to the forest. Surely you can work with the tieflings to help cleanse the land. Can you not?
I mean...
Marcus, have you not been learning how to listen to the forest and help the forest?
I mean, I know that I will. I've only really been allowed to go off on my own for a couple of weeks now. I only kind of just did my training. I mean, the trees don't really have a lot to say, do they?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. I think that perhaps it might be worth postponing things for a little.
Postponing what?
At this point, Damas will lean in, take a sip of soup. Tell them, Marcus. Tell them what you're doing. The Dryads are replacing the woodland. So everyone's going to have to move. They're still replacing it with trees. The forest as a forest will remain. Just everything's getting everything's just going to be wiped a bit. They're going to burn the forest.
Sorry, I'm not. That's me laughing at Anakis. Never mind.
Sorry. I just seen a bit of the chat as well. The Druids are planning to burn down the forest and anyone that's inside. It's not something they've proposed to the elves yet.
Ma?
Yes, dear.
Did you know this?
No. The Druids haven't exactly been reaching out to us. I assume it was somewhere on the itinerary. Marcus just sort of coyly nods. We were going to come and discuss this with you, but when we found a place for you to move to.
And what if they don't want to move? Are you just going to burn it anyway?
I mean... yes?
Oh, I get my claws out.
Now, the order is all about preserving the natural order. The Tieflings congregating here just seemed unnatural, so as a precautionary measure, cleansing...
You're going to kill them all?
We gave the offer of moving.
And if they didn't, you were going to kill them?
I mean, not me personally. I've got no problem with them.
No, clearly not.
This feels like a very tense situation. Maybe I should,
Vacate?
I was thinking that, yeah.
Might be wise.
Yeah.
I just scratched my one of my claws on the wall. I look at him. I just stare at him.
He locks eyes on you, picks himself up, stumbles over the stool that he was on, and almost falls over the banister down to the forest floor. I'll send a messenger with our response. Their response.
By there, how many? By there, how many?
Well, this is being overseen by the Hierophant of our circle. So there's 20 of them in the council.
Okay, which council did you say?
It's the Council of Sommergleam Land. Land circle.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, the Hierophant's there with all of his, subordinates. And, I mean, I don't even have a title. I'm just new on the job. I don't even count as a druid, really. I shouldn't really be in the same category. I'm just a guy. I'm just from Rooksrest. To be fair, this is above my pay grade. I mean, we don't even get paid.
Go back to your council, then.
Mm-hmm.
And I look to Marcus and I look to Ma, and see if the Tieflings and the Wood Elves can move to the city.
I'll see if that works with them. Have a good rest of the meeting. I'll thank you for the tea, water. Thank you. And he scrambles towards the ladder, and climbs down.
Well, I was all for helping the Druid Order, but maybe not. Maybe it's not what I thought it was.
They seem to be very passionate about their job.
Yes, they do. But it's whether you want to leave.
No. We've set down roots here. Your mum, similarly. No, we aren't moving. we have a few people like Dornell and a few others that are skilled in a few various ways. We might be able to fight this fire. We're staying right put.
Okay.
Hung my awning out and everything.
I mean, if they set the woods on fire, they set the forest on fire, you will have to run. You know that. But I don't want you to be put into that situation anyway, so we still need to try and talk and not let them force you out, but come to some sort of arrangement.
Padamus stands a little frustrated. What was this about moving us to a city?
It was just a suggestion. It wasn't anything to probably follow through with. To see what they come back with.
Half of my people escaped from Tharansari. The other half from the villages around Sommergleam, Berceau, Rooksrest. These places don't take kindly to us.
I know. I've been there myself. It was merely a passing comment. I don't want you to end up somewhere you're not comfortable. That's not fair.
Your dad sort of wandering through. Well, I've been speaking with a few of the neighbours, and they're a bit less bothered now that they've seen Padamus here. Perhaps we could eventually convince them to take a few in, but that doesn't really solve the problem with the Druids now, does it?
No. I need to talk to them. Again. I need to, I don't know, convince them. There is other political things going on elsewhere that I could mention. In fact, I'm going to send a message via, I assume they've got some sort of Druid. I'm assuming they've got something at their end where I can talk to them. If not, tell it.
You can use Druidcraft to send like rudimentary messages using the Druidic language, Ogham. So you can send like simple signals, like prepare for my arrival, or danger, or things like that, but not like a full conversation.
I'm going to send them a... Okay, this is a bit. Would they know about the army? The Druid?
Potentially.
Sure. Okay, I'm going to say to them... I'm going to send a message and I'm going to say... It isn't just you... It's not wanting... It isn't just you wanting to fight. It isn't you just wanting to fight. I'm going to drop... Oh, what was her name? What was the Blood Queen's name?
Oh, Ayala.
There's also Queen Ayala. Is she back? No, she's still in Tomb.
No, they're still trying to bring her back.
There's also there's not only you trying to fight a war. There's also Queen Ayala attempting to make a comeback. So I suggest we all work together as one, not against each other. And I send that to the order.
A few moments later, you hear a shout from one of the huts, and being chased out of the hut is another druid. It's a halfling, getting a swift pan chucked at his head. All right, lady. All right, just calm down. I didn't know where I was ending up. Hi. Besom Buford.
Who?
Besom Buford. Of the Boundhold Bufords? Never mind. Over your head. So, send in messages, Anakis. Yeah. She wants to see you.
Who?
Boss lady.
Boss lady.
Oh. Reaches into his robe, pulls out a symbol of the Druid Order. You sent a message?
I did. Yes.
Come on.
I go with Beelzebuford.
He then takes you into one of your neighbour's houses, and she again starts screaming at him. Like, what are you doing? This is my house! He's like, yeah. Goes towards the trunk of the tree that the house is wrapped around and pushes his hand into it, and the bark bends inwards until he reaches in so far so it becomes a slit, and then he grabs hold of you and pulls you in.
Oh, dear me.
It feels very tight and restrictive. For a few moments you can't breathe. You feel like you are floating in sap. There's a lot of pressure all around you. And it starts off really warm and cools. Eventually you see light ahead of you. He makes his way, breaching out the other side, and pulls you along too. You have this vague coating of sap still on you. And you've got these stringy slivers of wood hanging from bits of your hair and your clothes. You've just come out of a massive drooping willow tree, a different kind to the one that you initially stepped through. So this is advanced magic, rather than stepping from one tree of one kind to another tree of the same kind. It's different kinds. Ahead of you, you see a gigantic tree. This is perhaps one of the biggest you've ever seen. And at the base, melded into the tree, you see a woman wearing a long, flowing green and brown robe with white fringes at the side. There's a whole manner of creatures, squirrels and birds, like standing and floating, flitting around. There's a host of bats hanging above your head. And down by her feet, there's a very large wolf that perks its ears up as you approach. She leans forward slightly, and you notice that she's got antlers growing out the back of her head along to the side that sort of intermingle with the branches in this tree. And there's this glowing blue pale light up above streaming through as if it's a full moon wherever you are. Here are, my lady. Brought the messenger. Of course.
Hi.
And he backs away, starts to go through the tree, and he goes, "Oh, good luck," and disappears through the tree. Anakis.
Hi. Milady.
You are of us.
Yes, I am. Yes.
You touch the Fey weave.
I do.
And the Fey weave touches you back.
It does, yes.
You have concerns.
Great concerns, yes.
The forest you came from. You wish to have it not be cleansed.
It's not that it's cursed. I don't believe it to be so. I believe there's other things going on, maybe elsewhere, that could pose a bigger threat to not only the Order, but to civilization as a whole.
You are wise, Anakis. The Order does well to have you amongst us. Deep beneath the bronzewood grove, the forest you were just in, there lies our enemy. A temple to a dark god. Word must not get out that we know. We must cleanse the forest and seize control, or darkness will fall.
The tomb of Ayala.
She lies beneath. We cleanse the forest. We control the land above. We make way for the Fey Weave. And the temple issue will resolve itself.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Your Excellency. What's your name, by the way?
I have grown beyond the need for name.
Of
I
course.
am of the forest. I am the Grand Hierophant.
The what?
The Grand Hierophant, Hierophanт. It's the classical.
H-E.
Yeah, it's a classic name for basically top druid.
Hierophant.
Yes,
Okay.
Hierophant.
Oh my god, so much information. Oh dear. Bombshell. Guys, where are you? Oh god. Right. Okay. Grand Hierophant. I believe that to be an army being led under false pretenses to.
This seems to be a mortal concern. What threat does an army pose to us?
They wish to release Queen Ayala, or at least their leader, who is not who he says he is.
If Ayala is released, death will blanket the land. That is undesirable. What needs to be done to this army to stop it?
Well, the leader needs to be no more. Really, myself and my comrades, a small group of 4 of us, are trying to attempt to stop them, but to no prevail as of yet.
There is a blade. Something forged a long time ago. It can destroy great evils. We last knew of an elf that did wield it. Deep in the city streets of Tharansari. It is called the Fey Blade.
Yes, I am aware of it.
Retrieve the blade, and you can slay whatever stands in your way.
don't need the Feyblade. It's going to be a fight to the death. Okay.
I have a great many under my protection. I need a great deal of strength and thought in every movement. I cannot stop my druids from doing what they are doing without great cause. Ayala has not risen. You will not get any more help, I'm afraid. But you must do this.
Okay. Okay.
Bronzewood Grove is of little concern. The peoples can simply move.
Okay. Do you have somewhere for them to go?
It should matter not. I see the centuries roll by as a day. If they move quickly to me. It does not matter where they end up. They just have to leave the grove.
Okay. By when?
My druids have begun.
So what now?
The fires begin.
Where?
To the west.
And I quickly exit and I say, thank you, Grand Hierophant. One last thing. Before I go, can I cast Detect? Good and evil. Have I got that?
Ooh. I think you do have it.
No, I don't. I've got Detect Magic. But obviously I'll get something there. But I won't get Detect Good and Evil.
Ah.
Damn! I got a dodgy feeling about her! Do not like her. Can I do an insight check?
Yes, you can.
I don't like her. 18.
She is truthful in how aloof she is, but she's designing how she's saying things and revealing stuff to you. So everything she's saying is truthful, but you know that she is still obscuring details. That, yes, she's told you that to her, this is all going to be a blink of an eye, so it doesn't really matter to her where people go. That the forest being burned down and the temple being contained by the Druid Order, that's all that really matters. But that's... Like she's aware that there is even more to it, and she's deliberately structuring what she's saying to keep you in the dark. She is doing that whole... have you come across many people that work for like MLMs and things, like the higher up management, that very like fake... oh yeah, we listen to your concerns, and yep, that, you know,
we do nothing about them.
Yeah, and like, oh, I absolutely care for all the people on my team when they don't. It is blatant self-interest.
Do I get the feeling that she's doing it for another reason? That she has other what's the word? Agendas.
I think that'll be the thing that will be the most confusing. There doesn't seem to be... Her agenda is unclear, but certainly not opposite to what she's stating.
Okay, so it's not evil.
No. Again, it's part of that careful wording. So she does care about the temple being covered. She does care about the army and its approach, at least where it pertains to the resurrection of Ayala. So those are concerns for her. So whatever her ultimate goal is, that does matter to it. But I suppose she's not made plain just what exactly the end goal is.
Okay. Okay. Right. And that's the key thing. We don't know what yet end goal is. Okay. Right. Well, there's currently a burning forest, so I need to go deal with that. I'm going to send a message where I am to Ma and Pa and the Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
No, because he's not Tiefling. He's not Druid.
Marcus is strictly speaking a Druid. He was just saying like I'm new here, don't blame me. Is basically what he was doing.
I'm going to send them both the same message and say there's a fire in the west by the Tieflings, I'm assuming, near the Tieflings.
Yeah, they were further west than the elves.
Yeah, west of Marcus. I will explain later, but it's of importance that you get out now. Oh.
And then going through the tree back into the forest?
Yep, back into the hut of the woman. Oh no, yeah.
Go through the tree, yep, she starts screaming, shouting about Anakis, them damn kids, all of them trouble.
I'm sorry.
So, your mother and father quickly rush up to you. We got your message. The fire started now. I thought we had more time.
No. She'd already started before I got there.
Bloody Druids.
But there's a lot more going on than we've ever known. There's bad things beneath us, Ma. Bad things. And for your own safety, not just because of the Druid Order, you need to get out. And fast. The other things that I know of elsewhere are coming here.
No other way out?
No.
That's all I need to hear. She then turns and calls to everyone. All right, listen up, all of yous. We're packing up for a long journey. Grab food, grab clothes, and that's it. You leave everything else behind. Grab your persons, and we're moving. Suddenly, everyone's now an array of movement. People gathering things up. Lots of carry satchels, like being bundled up and packed quickly. Your dad, running off to go and pack all of your stuff. And what about you? What are you going to do?
I'm going to try and deal with the problem below. Not on my own. Don't worry.
I'll go and visit the other Tieflings. I'll go and get them moving too.
Okay. I should go and find my my friends. And let them know What's going on?
She clasps both of your hands in hers, and then slowly moves one hand to your cheek. You have always done me proud, and I trust you. I'll be sure to send you a message with where we land up, okay?
Okay.
And no more months before a message.
I promise.
Good. Now, eat healthy. Be on your way now.
Aye. You too.
She gives you a nod, quick peck on the forehead, rushes off to go and help Dad with packing some things, and then she's going to rush off to Padamus and warn him. So everyone looks like they're on their way out, and presumably safely out the forest. Is there anything else that Anakis wants to do for the close of this adventure?
Oh, panic. No, I don't know where it is. They don't, but I do. Whoa, what do I do? Whoa. Okay.
Anything you wanted to do? Or just get the hell out of Dodge?
Get the hell out of where I am.
As you leave, you see the large cloud of black smoke obscuring the smoke obscuring the stars up above. The fire has started, silhouetted against part of the raging fire. You see in the distance the dark, heavy cloaks of the Druid Order. Looks to be about a dozen of them standing by the tree line, having obviously set the fire, and are now watching it burn through. The forest is dense and wide. The fire is going to take a while to burn through it, which will give people plenty of time to move through. Living trees, notoriously difficult to burn. But eventually it will rage through. You reckon within a week the entire thing will be reduced to ashes.
Okay. She's very sad. She's very sad. She's very sad that it's had to happen. But I want to make a point. She didn't want it to happen. She didn't want the Druids to burn down the forest. FYI, people that are listening. That was the last thing she wanted. Okay.
And with that, we will call an end to that adventure. So a lot of things happened.
Oh! What's the cannon? Oh, damn me. Oh, yes, a lot of things happened.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. We are going to go on a brief break. Feel free to, stick around in the chat for a little bit. I'm going to go and get myself a cup of tea and refresh. And when we come back, we should have an Amy. And we get to see what adventures she gets up to. Yeah. But thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, everyone. This is Crit It and Hit It, another special episode today. We had, just a short while ago, Anakis and her special episode with Abby playing that. And now we have Kerry.
Yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to be me introduce myself for you there, but it works.
We have Kerry from Tabletop Crafter playing her character Amy, and this is going to be the last of the special single-player episodes, getting people caught up on the things that happened during the week that was. The week where everyone went off and did their own things and found their own information out, and so on and so forth. We've just completed Anakis's, where the beginning of that was part of her transporting Amy and Sheniel north through some special Druid gates. She takes them far, far to the north, past the mountains of Scania, and it is there that Amy and Sheniel emerge to a dusty wasteland place. Sorry, excuse me, I think my headphones were not quite in the jack properly. There we go. You see a dusty wasteland ahead of you. There are a few dead trees reaching out of the ground like twisted hands, clawing towards the clear sky. There's a cool wind blowing down towards you, and you see lots of mountains up ahead. There is also a large, smooth mountain that you see just on the horizon. And Sheniel points to it and says that that's where the two of you are going.
Okay.
Yeah. You walk for the majority of the day. It starts getting dark, and ahead you can see this dome shape looming closer and closer. And in almost the shadow of it, you come across a small town. This town is dusty, made of ramshackle wooden buildings that look like they're made out of just whatever materials they could find. It is a single street, a few loose wooden structures, and on a porch near the road as you're approaching, you see an old orc. He is rocking back and forth in a rocking chair, and you see a few younger orcs milling backwards and forwards. Sheniel informing you on the way up here that orcs are going to be a common sight in these parts. Sheniel proposes that you continue on throughout the evening, heading towards your ultimate destination, at which point he says that things will become clearer. But there is the option of stopping here and resting for the evening. What would Amy like to do?
Okay. Well, firstly, Amy waves at the orcs happily as we go past. Oh. And then I'd like to ask Shaniel, like, how long it's going to take us to get there from here.
It shouldn't be any longer than another day and a half of journeying.
I don't think we should just keep walking. I think we need to stay the night.
If you think so, Amy.
Have you ever gone more than a day without sleep? It makes you all sorts of like inaccurate, and you know, if we got in a fight, it'd be real difficult.
I can't say I've ever tried it, no. Then again, I haven't been in a mortal form for much longer than a few weeks.
Okay, we need sleep.
Okay. Do we need to seek shelter for the sleep?
I mean, ideally, probably.
One of the younger orcs that's waved back to you then wanders up towards you. Oh, strangers?
How old is this orc?
Looking about 17, 18.
Right, okay.
Young buck.
Okay. Hello, my name's Amy. What's your name?
Angor.
It is a pleasure to meet you.
And you. We don't get many strangers around here, but I also don't pay attention to those that stay in the inn across the road, so I'm sorry if you've been here for a little while. I've been out gathering supplies.
We're new. We've just walked in. What sort of supplies have you been gathering?
Mostly stones, singing stones. I collect them, I polish them, and I sell them at the nearby cities.
What are singing stones?
Singing stones from the cut, the gorge, the hole over to the east.
I've never heard of a singing stone. Could you show me one?
Yes. Come with me. And he leads you towards the house with the old orc rocking in front of it. The old orc staring at the two of you as you walk by, but just saying nothing. As he takes you inside, Arngor shows you on the mantle above the fire pit. He's got an array of stones. He picks one of them up. It looks like a rounded piece of slate. And he taps it on the side of the wooden mantle. And at first, it doesn't do anything. But then after a few seconds, as you can hear this faint humming sound. And it starts to vibrate more visibly. And the humming sound gets louder and louder. Almost the opposite of a tuning fork. It seems to just continue increasing in volume while Arngor stares at you with this happy grin.
I sort of clap and do a slight little hop jump. That's amazing. Where did you say you got it from?
What?
Where did you say you got it from?
I can't quite hear you. I'm going to stop the singing stone. And he grabs a hold of it, stop it. Puts it down on the mantle. Where I got it from?
Yes.
The hole. Whereabouts did you say you're from?
I mean, we're from near Summergleam and Sari.
I've never heard of it. But my grandfather may have heard of it. Hold on. And he goes outside, brings his grandfather in, who's got like a blanket wrapped around his legs, and he's slowly shuffling in. Grandpa, these people say they're from a place called Summergleam. Do you remember Summergleam? He stares at you and Shaniel. My grandfather's a little old. I'll sit him down. He sits down, still just staring at you and Shaniel. Can I get you anything? Do you want an introduction at the inn? I don't know. Do you want to buy a singing stone?
I would love to buy a singing stone. How much do you sell your singing stones for?
I normally sell them 5 for a silver.
Okay. I don't have it written down how much money I have. Yeah, I've literally not written down any money. Okay. Instead, I'm gonna say I probably do have 5 silver. That's not that much.
Yeah,
I'll give him
exactly.
5 silver,
You've
but I'll just
certainly
take.
got a few gold on you.
Yeah, I'll give him 5 silver, but I'll say that I'll only take 1 because I don't want to, use up his stock for selling elsewhere.
Oh, thank you. The grandfather in the corner then just grunts. Grandfather's probably right. We can just think about this as a long-distance trading tax. Yeah, 5 silver for one for someone from a distant land. That makes a lot of sense. Yes. Gives you one of the singing stones. Then he thinks for a minute, replaces it with a different singing stone that's slightly larger.
Oh, well, thank you so much. We're traveling to the smooth-looking mountain on the horizon. Do you know of it?
Yes. It's not a You say you're from Summergleam. Do they not
Yes.
have the mountain there?
No, we're from way, way down south.
Oh. My grandfather warned me and my brothers and sisters to stay away from there. He doesn't like to talk about it much. He was injured there. It's a dangerous place, to be sure. Very loud. Constant sounds of explosions. The rounded mountain, it floats above the ground. It's one of the things that makes the singing stones.
It floats?
Has done my whole life. I assume forever. The mountain's round. It floats above the ground. The pit, the hole, it goes down for miles. You can't even see the bottom of it.
What? Do you know where the explosions come from, or how your was it grandfather? Sorry, grandfather was injured?
My grandfather was injured some time ago when he was exploring the area. I just know that he lost his tongue and he got some scarring on his face. His hands didn't work the same again afterwards. He's struggled ever since. He was there for something, doing a job for someone. That's all my grandmother knows. She said that it was very important to him, though, that he was happy to do it. That he travelled a long, long way. He used to go all over the world, my grandfather. But when he was called upon to do this mission for some person who promised him, I presume, coin, he came back changed. He was a bit more jaded, injured. The noise just comes from the hole. We assume it's something volcanic. It sounds like a booming sound, like you're dropping something heavy, just all the time.
Can I turn to Chanel at this point and say, do you know why there's like a booming sound all of the time?
He turns his back to Arngor and leans close to you. We should probably leave. I think these people might be upset at learning the truth about what's causing the explosion noises.
Oh, okay. If you think.
I think if they know why we're here, it'll just cause more trouble.
But we're here to... Why are we here?
Perhaps I should tell you outside. Amy and I are going to get some fresh air. We like it here. It's dusty.
My friend, I don't even know how to explain it. Thank you so much. So we are looking to spend the night, perhaps at the inn, or if you know somewhere else. I'm
sure you can stay here. Wouldn't that be fine, grandfather? Again, he just stares. It'll be fine. This place is my parents. We let the grandfather stay with us. It'll be absolutely fine. My sister and brothers, they'll be fine too. They just enjoy a bit of food every evening. They've got their own houses, but they come here for a family meal.
Okay, well, why don't me and Chanel cook for you as a thank you for letting us stay with you?
Cook? Wow. Do you know how?
Yes, I know how. He probably doesn't, but I do.
Yes. Yes, by all means. He then explains to the two of you that most of what they eat is just raw berries and vegetables.
Okay.
They don't get an awful lot growing up here. Meat's a bit of a delicacy for them. Hunting's not something that they tend to do. But one of the things he likes to do with the money he makes from selling the singing stones is to buy a treat every 6 months or so.
Okay. Can we just presume that I've got, I don't know, uncooked raw stuff that maybe I would usually cook on a campfire or something, on journeys?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. You probably have some dried and cured stuff as well to go along with stuff. But yeah, you'll be able to cook things up easily.
Okay. Okay, that sounds perfect. We're just gonna. My friend wants to see what beer the local tavern has on. We're just gonna take a quick stroll up the road and then we'll come right back.
Sure. I'll make sure my siblings don't start without you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, things are cooking away. You and Chanel head outside.
Okay.
Amy, I don't have much of a taste for the ale.
I know, Chanel. It's called a diversion.
Oh.
You say one thing and it leads people to think that you're doing something innocent when really you're going outside to talk about the things you don't want them to hear.
Like when I said we like the dust.
Yes, exactly. That's a perfect example of a diversion.
I do not like the dust.
No, me neither. So tell me about why we're here and why they're scared of this, or why his grandfather would have been hurt, or why there are explosions. It doesn't sound like a very safe place for us to go.
It is safe for us. Where I'm taking you is dangerous to get to, but once we're there, we'll be very, very safe. It's important to me that you learn of who I am. You have access to abilities, things that other people can't do. A lot of this comes from your training and your background as a healer, a diplomat, and a fighter. There are some things that come from elsewhere. I propose to show you where that elsewhere is.
Okay. And it's going to be dangerous getting there?
It will, because of our forms, mortal bodies. The sound doesn't affect us in our true forms. It is the sound of the pit down below. Where we're going is hovering above the ground, forcing its way away from the planet's surface. That constant pull away to not crash into the ground causes a lot of disturbance to the ground underneath. It makes an exploding sound. It's very dangerous for people to even move around there. The forces involved are astronomical. But it's necessary to keep things safe. If the mountain were to crash down, it would kill countless people.
Okay. Okay. Well, if you think that we'll be safe and this is what we need to do, then I trust you.
Thank you, Amy. We should get some food, some rest, and then we should travel in the morning.
Agreed. Go back into the house.
You go back in, and you see a larger collection of orcs there now. They're gathered around a massive cauldron in the middle that's been cooking away with a whole bunch of extra things in there, and they're all just waiting patiently with bowls. When food is served, they start sharing lots of stories that they've been telling each other for years, and you get to hear some of these myths and legends. You hear the story of the world chain. You hear the story about the cold flying mountains, which apparently are separate from this orb mountain. And then, as it gets later on, it's then just Arngor's sister, Ingomar, and himself. And the sister tells you about grandfather, that she was very close with grandmother, and she eventually learned the story of what happened. Sheniel looks visibly uncomfortable as she explains that grandfather performed a task for someone who claimed to be working for a higher power, and while the grandfather first thought that was a king, it turned out that it was something else. There are theories floating about among the family. Some think that it was some fey person, some others think that it was maybe an angel, and that he was tasked to go and throw something into the pit, into the hole. But when he did so, the hole hurt him. Something got him, took out his tongue, and he's just not been the same since. There are rumours around town that demons live in the pit.
Well, that's not a reason to go there. Okay, is the grandfather still here while this conversation's happening, or is he?
He's still there. He's no longer staring at you. He's just staring at Sheniel.
Okay. Okay. I will tell them some stories back down where I'm from, and I'll kind of tell them what we've just been doing, like some of our adventures that we've recently had, but make it like a little bit like fantasized, you know. Like exaggerated a little bit and made it almost like a fairy story rather than we just went down to this undercity and stuff.
Like 3PO to the Ewoks.
Yeah. and like maybe some like actual folk tales and stuff from my past. And then I don't know, because I feel like I want to talk to the grandfather, but like, so maybe wait out the younger people going to bed.
Sure. Eventually they do simmer down. It gets to like almost 1-ish in the morning, and they've drifted off.
Okay. And the grandfather's still up?
Yes.
Did I get a name? Can I have asked for a name? The grandfather?
Yep. His name is Inglak.
Okay. So I'll go like sit sort of beside him. Mr. Inglak. I've already forgotten it. Inglak. I'm so sorry to hear what happened to you up there. It must be really hard living with that and dealing with that, and still, I guess, being so close to where it happened, really. You... I don't mean to be forward or rude, but I noticed that you haven't stopped keeping an eye on my friend here. Is there any reason for that? A bad reason. Is there any way you could, if I gave you some paper, would you be able to explain, or?
He then holds up his hands, and you see that they're almost solidified in a claw-like pattern. You don't know if it's age or injury that's done it.
Oh, okay. I put a hand on his shoulder and just, it's like apologetic, like I shouldn't have even really asked. And say, we're going to be leaving in the morning. We're going to be going to the smooth mountain. But hopefully maybe on our way back we could pass through. And I could let you know what we find up there. Okay.
He then returns, locking his eyes onto Sheniel.
Okay. I put a hand on his shoulder again, and then turn to Sheniel and say, perhaps we should get some sleep if we're going to be traveling for another day and a half.
You do so. In the morning, you are given some extra supplies by the family. Angor in particular hands you some special wax that they tend to use. He shows that he had some in his ears. That wax is just pressed in, and it keeps a lot of the sound out. It protects your ears from it. You're sent on your way. Excuse me. And as you are approaching the end of the next day of travelling, you can now see that this mountain is indeed separated from the ground. It is smooth most of the way around. It's pretty much spherical, and it is a brilliant white. It is a shining orb. A lot of the mountains around about it almost like curve away from it, and you do start to feel the pressure of this loud booming sound all around. Camping for the evening, moving on for the next part of the day. You approach the edge of this hole, you see this moon-like thing above you, and you also notice that there is a faint shout, like someone calling for help, down into the pit.
Can I ask Janelle if you can hear that? Can you hear someone shouting for help?
I can. I assume it's the demons down there.
Why would a demon be shouting for help?
To trick us, perhaps. It's what they do.
But what if it's a person? What if it's someone like the orcs? They're stuck down there.
We don't have a great deal of time, Amy. I do want to show you what I brought you here for.
I know, but we should look. We have to help people when they need help. Let's just take a look.
All right, a look. Okay, give me a strength athletics check for scrambling along a difficult walkway.
Okay.
Roll the 20.
25. 25.
Both of you deftly moving along. It looks almost like a quarry. There are like ridges to this pit as it goes down, but it's definitely not being like cut or hewn in any particular way. They're not smooth walkways, and it's not a helical spiral going down. It's just different bits jutting out. But you do find, after just a couple of minutes of searching, there is a small orc child clinging to the wall, waxing its ears, almost falling down the pit.
I look at Chanel like, you're about to leave him. Is that a boy or a girl?
It's a little girl.
Alright. You're about to leave her!
I have no idea.
Can I quickly... tell me my bloody abilities. I would like to use my divine sense to detect good and evil. I can basically know the location of celestial, fiend, or undead, and basically I'm using it because I'm fully aware that obviously Chanel's there, and then whatever. But I'm mainly checking that this orc isn't that.
The orc isn't a demon, but you do sense a fiend nearby.
Okay.
You'll sense them. Yes, a single fiend, and they are behind a rocky outcropping above where the orc is.
Right. Okay. Do I think I could? Can I like make eye contact with the orc? Can I get it to see me?
Yep. She's staring at you, looking, pleading. She's got tears going down her face, and as she tries to move a little bit closer, some of the rock crumbles away, and she puts her hands back on the small bit of ledge that she's on. You can't. There isn't like a walkway to her, so it will take some very careful rock climbing to get to her.
Can I ask Chanel if he thinks he would be able to fly over to her with his wings?
I can, yes. But I only have the energy to bring my wings out once. When I grab her, we then need to go.
Okay. I guess we don't want to take her up.
I would rather not, but if we don't have a choice, we may have to.
That's maybe alright. I think that's probably okay. My concern, Janelle, is that there's a fiend behind that rock. And if we can't sort of tiptoe our way across there, it's gonna like jump out at us and either kill the poor child or come at us. And I'd rather not deal with that.
I failed to sense it. My apologies. I'm used to being the more vigilant.
That's okay, Chanel. It happens to everyone. Sometimes, people are just tired, or
It's never happened to me before.
It's been a long day. Okay. Right. Okay, Chanel. This is the plan. I am going to cast Calm Emotions. If she's 60 feet away. I don't know if she's 60 feet away.
She is within 60 feet. Yeah,
okay.
She's about 25 feet.
I'm going to cast Calm Emotions so that she hopefully calms down. You're going to grab hold of me. We're going to swoop. You're going to fly. You're going to swoop, grab her, and then we're just going up. We'll just take her with us. It's fine. We'll just sit her down somewhere safe. We'll go and talk, come back, pick her up, take her back home again.
Okay. He then takes a small step back, closes his eyes, and his skin begins to brilliantly shine. You see these wings unfurl behind him, and he opens his eyes, and they are this metallic grey shining out. He gently grabs a hold of your hand, and then pushes off, flying towards this girl. As he swoops down, grabs a hold of the girl by the back of her dress, picks her up, and as you're flying up past, you see this demon made of bone. It's got a long, elongated face, sunken eyes, and as it turns to look at you, you see this pair of wings unfurl behind it, pushes off from the rock, and flaps hard, gaining a huge amount of speed and chasing after you and Sheniel. The speed at which the two of you are going, I'm going to say that you will have 3 rounds effectively to do a thing to try and stop this demon from following you to the moon.
the moon. Okay. It's so casual.
Yeah,
Falling
the
into
moon.
the moon. Right, okay. The problem is Smite has to be on like melee attacks, I think.
He will be close enough for you to swipe.
Oh, okay, then I'll attack.
He's like proper gaining on you guys. Yeah.
I'll attack then.
Go to attack.
17 plus 7.
That will definitely hit.
It's been so long, I can't remember how Smite works. Right, okay.
If you hit, you then like declare it.
Yeah.
I think it's a spell slot.
Yeah, so second level slot. I was going to use second level spell slot. So.
Oh, isn't it double damage against demons or something?
It's 2d8 plus 1d8 for every spell slot higher, so it's 3d8 plus 1d8 because it's undead, so 5d8.
Do.
I love paladins. I'm being blind. I can't see if it's all true. Oh, there we go. Okay. Ugh, that's not great. Okay. Oh, and then my actual weapon, which is 1d8, which is why I think I was like, that's not as many d8s as normal. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 24 damage with that attack. And then, obviously, like, some of that was radiant. I don't know if it's all radiant. I guess it's all radiant. When it's Smite. Is Smite radiant?
Smite is radiant, and I am just double checking. But I think we're good. Yeah, there's no vulnerabilities to it.
Okay.
That would just be nuts.
I get 2 attacks a turn.
Yep, so you get to make your second attack.
19 to hit. Yeah, 19.
19 hits.
And I'm just going to use both second level spell slots with Smite, so it's going to be the same again. Because why not?
God, yeah, you can do it with every attack, can't you?
Yep.
Dude.
8, 9, 10, 12. Why would I do it this way around? 17. 18, 28 damage.
20.
The second attack.
Jeez, that's 50 brain.
50 brains. Correct. I guess that didn't help with the math.
24, 28 is 40 and 12. So 52. There we go. Got there in the end. Brain power. Okay, so with a couple of swipes, you managed to entirely destroy that demon. Your second slice, cutting it down, it screams. There's an explosion of like dark light coming from it, and the body falls down towards the pit. As it does so, you see this small light at the bottom become shrouded in this moving darkness. And after a few more seconds, you see that it is a horde of more of these winged fiends rising up from the pit, flying up towards you.
I say, go, 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 go!
Ahead, as you get closer and closer, you find that there are more bumps and nuances to this sphere that's ahead. Looks like there are building structures, very tall ones, lots of walkways going on. It's a very densely packed thing. But as you move closer, you see lots of brilliant white lights moving towards you. Moving away from the moon is this horde of angelic winged beings moving to meet all these demons rising up from the pit.
That's so cool. That's the cover for this. If this was a one-off episode, TV show, movie, that would be the cover for this. That's so cool.
But yeah, Sheniel very quickly moving you towards one of these walkways. You can feel your stomach turning as you feel pulled, like gravity's turned. And then as you're getting about 40 feet from this walkway, Sheniel's wings cut out. He then tumbles down to the ground. You as well. You catch yourself from falling from the walkway, and Sheniel has bundled himself around this small orc girl, protecting her, and then stands
He's
up.
learning! Yay!
He then awkwardly stretches her out and puts her down. You're free.
I'll like sort of kneel down in front of her and be like, "Hello, what's your name?" I think calm emotions should still be on. It's a minute concentration. I mean, she didn't do a charisma save. You can have her do the save.
Oh, that's true. Okay, you're right. I will have calm emotions still going on, because it has been just shy of a minute. So yes, instead of bursting into tears, then. He's a bit scary.
He is scary. Don't worry about him. He's just like a big teddy bear. He's just a little softy. What's your name? My name's Amy.
I like Amy. My name is Sagara.
That's a beautiful name. Why were you stuck? How did you get into the pit?
I thought my dad told me to meet him there, but then he turned into that weird bone thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sometimes creatures like that can play with our minds and pretend to be things. But I'm gonna make sure you get back to your real parents, okay?
She then clings close to you.
Oh. I will put an arm around her and tell her we've got just a couple of things that we have to take care of here, but then you can tell me where you come from, and we'll get you back there, okay?
She nods and then sort of like buries herself close to you, looking around.
I beam at Sheniel, like super happy with the situation.
He looks around uncomfortably. We need to go.
Lead the way. What? Look, I mean, I'm saying that. The world just turned upside down, Sheniel. What was that down there? And now we're on ground. And okay, after you.
As he leads you through, he explains where you are and what's going on. This is the realm of the angels. We call this place Celestia. It's where we get our power and where we are created. We have an army that fights against the demon hordes down below. It's a near daily occurrence. You were one of us, Amy. An angelic being called Amriel. A pact was made with the demon Begazul. He was to claim one of us. By doing so, it was meant to represent an end to hostilities. I disagreed with the pact. And it seems as punishment, you had your memory wiped and you were sent down to the mortal realm as a child.
Okay. Okay.
Now that
It was just as like a blown mind. So I'm like, just nothing.
now that that you've been told all of this, I'm afraid that we will have to remove your tongue. And then he looks down at the little orc girl.
I click my fingers in Chanel's face and make him look back up at me. You're joking, right?
Any that come to Celestia and are of mortal blood, they can't tell people.
Well, then you better cut my tongue out.
But you are not of mortal blood. Not
I am
technically.
mortal.
You shouldn't be.
And cut your tongue out. You're mortal. Look at the body you're in.
This, I don't want to.
You don't want to look at it?
I don't want to cut my tongue out.
No!
I shouldn't have to.
Well, I don't want to cut my tongue out, and I don't want you to cut her tongue out. So enough of the tongue-cutting talk. That was hard to say.
All this time, he has been moving you towards a large pyramidal-shaped building. The doors move aside on their own, as if the walls themselves were opening for you. And inside, you see this dazzling array of lights. The walls are pristine white. Just everything seems to be very bland and monotone, but in a beautiful, brilliant way. But after you get past the initial glare, you then see that there are 6 brilliant figures, bright, colourful robes. Some of them are wearing suits of armour. They seem almost as though they're sleeping. They're sat in these large chairs, hands on pedestals in front of them. Their eyes are closed, they're hunched over. They've got different looks to them. One of them's got a massive dog head. Another one has an array of eyes all along the forehead. Some of them have just 2 wings, some of them have 6 wings. One of them has no wings at all, and is just this 7-foot-tall blue woman with no hair. These are the Council. They concentrate all of their power, coordinate our efforts, and keep us afloat. Long ago, we travelled here and stopped ourselves from crashing into the planet. We disturbed a nest of demons, and unfortunately one of our number fell. But we can't create a new one. You'd need a vast amount of power. Something about the power of one of those demon lords down below. I brought you here, Amriel, so that you might better control your powers. The prophecy that Basal person made, if that refers to you, if you could destroy a demon lord, stop Begazul from taking you, then perhaps we might be able to imbue the power of one of our council on some other angelic being, or create a new one entirely. We could leave this place.
Okay.
At this, a loud stomp appears behind you, and you see there is a gigantic man on fire with fiery wings behind you. He moves his hand slowly down towards the orc girl, and the flames rescind from his hand, revealing this bright pink flesh. And as he does so...
Whoa. I snatched the girl out of the way.
He then pulls his hand back. He then speaks in Celestial.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Is she yours?
She's with us, yes.
He then gets down onto one knee, and he's still above you in eye level. She's so tiny.
Why were you trying to touch her?
I've never seen one so small.
Okay. I apologize. I don't mean to come off as rude. My friend here was previously talking about cutting out her tongue, so I'm a little on edge about the people here interacting with her.
The rest of the flames rescind entirely. He looks like he's just a bright pink man.
Okay. My name's Amy. It's a pleasure to meet you. I hope.
The pleasure is mine. He holds out one finger, which is about the size of your arm.
I shake it.
Amy.
Mm.
You look a little familiar. Sheniel then steps in. No, she doesn't.
Have you been to the material plane? Is it like over shoulder?
I
from the material plane.
I hear it's wonderful down there.
Oh, it is. You should visit sometime. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I'm getting invitations to the material plane.
In a nice way. Don't do any tongue cuttings.
It's an older practice. Something that we tend not to do much anymore. He then glances at Sheniel. Standard practice as far as I'm aware. Maybe for the lower orders of angel, but forgive me. My name is Raphaeus. I am an angel. You're from the mortal planes?
Yes.
I understand that some of your people worship us. I simply wish to extend my humblest gratitude. It's so good to know we have fans.
Yeah, I mean, people don't particularly know that you definitely exist, but people like the idea of angels.
I suppose we need to start doing more work down there.
Good work, though, right? Helping people.
Yes, of course. Ridding them of the demon plague that's crawling all over their world.
I mean, I just killed a demon prince, but whatever.
I heard.
I think it's a prince. I don't know.
There was some sort of swarm, wasn't there?
Oh, I don't mean the one just now. I mean Zagrel.
Zagrel. I can't say the name rings a bell. But I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between a prince and a pauper with a demon. You never can tell with their sort, can you?
I don't know, I don't know, I could tell a difference. I met that one and I saw the one. I've seen a few demons.
Perhaps it just seems more impressive from down there. Now, what are you all doing up here? He says as he stands back up, towering over you all.
Chanel? What? Do you want to take this one?
We are simply taking a small tour. Examining the filtration systems. Oh. Have a great need for sanitation down there?
Oh, yes. Well, you know, you obviously up here have the higher caliber of water filtration, and, you know, we could only dream of having an angel level system down below, so why not come and examine these ones for ourselves and take inspiration?
Good for you. Dream big. Yes. Well, I hope Sheniel here doesn't waste too much of your time. I'm sure there's lots of petty mortal concerns to go and deal with. I hear sleep is a thing that you like to do. Feel free to just do that anywhere, anytime here. People will just walk around you. It'll be fine.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm so glad I've made such a positive impact on your short life. He then gets up, starts to walk away, setting himself on fire as he does so.
Look at Chanel. What was that? What's that about?
No one knows that I came to you. No one knows that I broke the rules. I shouldn't have been helping you. I shouldn't have come to warn you about Begazul. So it's important that we keep your presence here secret. But it was important that I brought you here to show you. This is all a bit new to me, this subterfuge.
Well, you did a perfect distraction. Whatever I called it earlier. That was top notch. We were a very efficient team. I'm proud of us.
There is one more place that we must go, and then we should return to the mortal plane with your little green friend here.
Where's the other place?
It's down below. He then escorts you across some walkways. You see lots of angelic beings milling around, lots of robes going on. It's the height of fashion. And he takes you to another set of doors that open. This is as far as I can go.
Chanel, look, before I don't even... can I... Is there somewhere I can, like, put the little girl, like, sit her down somewhere and tell her to kind of, like, cover her ears for a bit?
Yeah, there'll be a place for you to do that.
Okay. And then sort of, like, away from where anyone that is around can see.
It's a fairly secluded place that he's taking you to. This door to this lift is
okay.
a bit quiet.
Chanel, those people on the thrones, could they hear us when we were in there?
No.
When we were in there?
No.
Okay.
They're entirely focused on maintaining our position from the planet.
And what's their, like, their end goal? You said that if you get a 7th that you can leave.
Yes. We realized that our presence here was destabilizing things, causing the whole earthquakes, similar things. We need to leave as soon as we can. We've been fighting the fiends for as long as we've been here. It's one of the things that attracted us here in the first place. I wasn't present for our arrival. I was created after. But our goal is to entirely wipe out the fiend menace. When they're all gone, we will leave. With enough power to move further away from the planet, we won't need as many people concentrating on that task. Our most powerful, the 7, would be able to go down to the pits of hell and destroy the demon lords.
And what does having completely destroyed them, what does that look like?
Well, it would involve all of our forces rooting out all the demons, a lot of which hide themselves among human and elven populations, being among the most numerous of them. I imagine the dwarves too. The most powerful of us, the 7, they have powers that hit a wide area. They would just cleanse the demons from the surface of your world.
And what does that mean for the people, the non-demons down there?
If they're caught in the path of the fire, then yes, they would die, but it would all be in service of the demons being cleansed.
I mean, I don't think that matters. You would let people, you would let them die?
It would only be a few thousand that would likely get caught in the crossfire. I doubt it would be everyone.
You doubt, but you're not sure.
The seven are said to be very powerful. If they wanted to, I'm certain they could coat the entire planet in fire.
And would there be anything stopping them doing that?
The lack of a seventh.
Chanel, why? What happened down with the girl? I mean, I don't even remember. I don't remember what happened.
That was you, fighting to come out. Down there. Down there is a friend of mine. She sent me to you. She will be able to combine you with your mortal self. It is not something I agree to lightly, but by combining the parts of you, you should be able to more freely control your transformation. Inside of you there is an angelic being, Amriel. She has great power, and she struggles to get out.
Okay. And yet, what you're saying that down on the material plane, there's someone that can help? Or do you mean down there? And I gesture to the lift.
He also points to the lift. She only wishes to help. And then we can leave.
Okay. But what if I don't want to be combined with whatever this is? I just want to be me. I don't want... What if...
Amy, if you don't, then I won't have my Amriel. Amy, you must understand that you may have been raised as a mortal, but inside you there is a being that is far more powerful, that matters much more than mere mortals. That girl there, she has a finite lifespan. We may have saved her today, but in 100 years she'll likely be dead. Surely the destruction of fiends outweighs the lives of mere mortals, including you.
Are you asking me to give up myself because you want your, I don't know, friend, partner, wife back?
She meant a great deal to me. I fear if you go down there, Amriel will be back to me.
Oh. Okay. I guess we'll see what happens. I'm sorry that. And then I'm gonna walk over to where the lift is. I don't know how it works. I presume it's just like a lift.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get in, and then I'm just gonna kind of look up at him, and say, "I'm sorry that I wasn't enough like this." And then I press a button. I don't know how this lift works.
The doors close. The lift goes down. Doors open, and you're greeted by a large woman who ushers you into this mist-covered room. There's stars on the ceiling above. She moves her hands gently in the air like casting a spell, and the stars move and shift around. And then she plucks one of the stars and moves slowly towards you. As she moves the star closer towards your forehead, your eyes instinctively close, and then they snap open. You are now in a misty, light-filled room, as opposed to this deep purple of the one that you were just in. The large woman is gone, but you see that you are standing in front of what seems to be a mirror. You see yourself opposite. And slightly to your right, you see another you. Both of these you look around for a moment and then look to each other.
Am I supposed to? Okay.
And they all seem to be waiting, hesitating.
So there's no one else. The woman's not here, and it's like two mirrors.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna shout hello into
the two reflections do not shout hello at first, and then one of them goes, "Hello." The other scowling at both of you. What's going on?
Where am I?
They all just look around, and then one of them says, "Are you lost too?"
Yeah, some woman put a star on me. Now I'm here.
Me too. I'm Amy.
I'm Amy.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, I think.
One of the Amy's then looks uncomfortable, starts to peel some of her armor off, and underneath she's wearing a toga, and two large wings unfurl. I'm not Amy. I am so sorry. I had no idea. I'm Amriel.
Okay.
The other one, again looking a bit uncomfortable, then pulls off her gauntlets, throws them down, and looks at her hands, and they start blackening, and strong red veins start showing up on the backs of her hands.
Are you okay?
You would be the one that stays the same, wouldn't you?
I'm sorry.
I think I know what's going on here. I know what's going on. She then leaps at Amriel and starts strangling her, choking her. And as she does so, her armour breaks off and two large bat-like wings shoot out the back.
Can I get to them? Like,
Yeah,
are they physically there?
Yeah.
Alright, okay. I'm gonna shout, like, stop! Fighting isn't gonna solve it.
Do you try to
try
separate
and,
them
like-
at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, they separate out. You all seem to be as strong as each other, so you're able to separate them out. Thank you, Amy. It appears that we're not all quite comfortable with this arrangement. My understanding is that we are to decide who leaves.
Who leaves?
Yes. We are all in here together. One of us is usually in the driving seat. It was supposed to just be me, but circumstances needs must. Well, you've been in the driving seat for a little while, Amy. I think it's time that I sat back down. I'm not quite sure what to call you. And then the one with the black and red hands, the demonic one. Call me Ema. I don't think Ema would be wise to take control now. Kerry? Things have frozen my end.
Yeah, it's gonna really, like, iffy.
Ah, I can hear you again
Okay.
now.
Are we back?
Yep, I think you're back.
Alright, okay. Okay, cool. So I heard the name of the person, but that's about it, and that
Yeah.
someone has to
Ema,
be in the
yeah.
driving seat.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Amriel's saying that you all need to decide who's going to be in the driving seat, and she thinks it shouldn't be Ema.
Okay. Well, I mean, what happens if you're in the driving seat, Amriel?
Well, I assume that the two of you would be utterly destroyed.
I don't want to be destroyed.
Oh, I know you don't want to be destroyed, Amy, but I was here first.
Not as far as I'm concerned.
There are a great many things that need to be done. Demons to be destroyed. And that Begazul, he's not going to go away by himself. Oh, you didn't think those prophecies were about you? No. This is meant to happen.
Chanel wants you back.
Chanel Wood. He's such a dear. I do love him.
Do you?
Well, in my own way.
What do you mean in your own way?
Well, Chanel is a bit more mortal with his appetites. He keeps wanting to spend time with me. And I like what he can do. He's good at destroying demons. Just for clarification there.
Yep. But he's so much more than a demon destroying weapon.
Oh, don't be silly. Angels aren't anything more than angel destroying weapons. No, we're not. Angels aren't anything more than demon destroying weapons. That's what we're designed for.
But Chanel is again. He's learning, but he's thoughtful. I can see it there. He cares about things. He cares about me, and he cares about my friends, and he's more than that.
And so that means what? That you deserve to live? No. I'm going to go back, and Sheniel is going to go back to slaying demons. We are going to win this war, and you mortals will get on with whatever you get on with.
No.
No. Ema has a big grin on her face. She said no.
And why are you smiling?
Oh, I'm just smiling because I think I can take you.
Neither of you are going back there.
But if we don't go, then... But you're just... You don't think... I may have a more earthy appearance. The bat wings and all. But I am the superior choice. I'm the fulfillment of the contract with Begazul. I go back, and peace reigns. If she goes back to fighting a war. I'm the contract fulfilled. The war ends.
And then what happens? And then where do the demons go?
Well, the demons then are allowed to leave hell. They take mortal realms.
Well, that's not happening either.
Oh, it's just the slaughter of millions of innocents. It's not that bad.
Neither of you understand that neither of your options and what you're offering are the right way. They're not good. It's killing innocent people, or it's... I don't even know. Like, I'm presuming that you will probably kill innocent people too, but your whole attitude to the thing and the way you're talking about Sheniel, that's not how good people talk.
You see the light start to dim where you are, and it's as though the circle of light is closing around you. Amriel looks around, panicked. We don't have much time. We need to choose now, and I am clearly the best choice. If we don't choose now, then everything just goes back to the way it was, and we don't get another shot at this.
Well, it's either me or it goes back to how it was.
That's just unacceptable. No. She then looks past you, and behind you there is a door.
Okay.
At this point, it becomes clear that basically whoever goes through that door, they're the one in control, unless the circle closes first. In which case, it'll be back to the way it was. Amriel and Ema both look at each other, look at you, and start bolting for the door.
I will go for the door too.
Give me an athletics check, but I would like you to use your charisma instead of strength.
What?
As the bonus.
How is it an athletics check? I don't understand how. Right, how does that work? So adding proficiency.
Yeah, if you're proficient in athletics, then you
right,
add your proficiency.
Right.
Okay, so that's and that's
18.
all three of you struggle at the door. The ring closes around you, and with a solid push, one of you pushes the other two away, but it all happens so fast. The light recedes, and you awaken with this small bead being taken away from your forehead. It gets placed back into the sky by the giant woman, who then gives you a slow nod and smile. And standing just behind her, with a very worried look on his face, is Sheniel.
Can I say anything?
Yep.
Who got to the door?
No one got to the door in time. It ran out. But no one else knows that, apart from Amy.
Right, okay. Okay. I'm gonna stand and, like, stretch my shoulders a bit. And I'm gonna walk... So the woman's still there?
The woman's still there, yeah.
Okay, I'm just kind of gonna...
tending to the sky again. She's not paying much attention.
Alright, okay. I'm gonna thank her as I walk past. And I'm gonna be, like, totally calm and, like, strong on this. And I'm gonna go to Chanel and say, I understand now. She's not coming back.
Amy's really gone. And you're back. I thought I wouldn't regret this. I'm so sorry, Amriel, but I'm so sorry. I don't think I can do this anymore.
What are you sorry for?
I sacrificed a mortal to bring you back. I've missed you so much, but I fear that the price was too high.
Chanel and I take his hands in mine and, like, pull him close to me. And I look up at him and I say, Chanel, Amriel didn't make it out in charge.
He looks at you wide-eyed and then pulls you in for a firm embrace. Gives you a big hug, and then poking out from behind him, the small orc girl, who catches the eye of the giant woman. Sheniel notices and quickly hides the orc girl. And we are going to end the session there. But I think that was a halfway decent place to end. I'd rolled an 18 for Ema as well, so it was like evens between the two of you. So I was like, oh, this is going to be difficult to adjudicate. So yeah, just have you both basically push each other away from the door. And in my head, it was Amriel like stood still at the door, but just didn't get through it in time.
Cool.
But yeah, there we go. So that is it for the special episodes. We've had Airden diving into a tomb and rescuing people down there, learning a bit more about the death cult. We've had Eden learning more about the damage that was done by Zagrel, and she'll be meeting up with Airden and everyone else. Amy has discovered a bit more about her past, and perhaps now a bit more about where she stands in these broader conflicts. And Anakis also has learned that the Druid Order, not necessarily all it's cracked up to be, and we also learned a bit more about her backstory and her family life. So we know more about these characters, and we're all ready for moving on with the future adventures.
Yeah, season 2. We're
Yes.
officially calling it season 2.
Exactly.
Starting next week, I think. Next Friday.
I believe so. Yeah. We just need to sort everything out season 2 wise.
Yeah.
But yes, we will see you guys then, and stay geeky until then. Like,
Is that a new catchphrase?
like,
Cool.
don't stop liking geeky things. All right. I'll see you later, guys. Thank you so much for joining us.